Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. For today's review, we're taking a look at the Figuarts ZARBON True Power figure. This is a Premium Bandai Exclusive, so it does come in this brown shipper box. Has the logo, well, I guess the name of ZARBON here. Has Figuarts logo. Just a basic brown box, but inside... it's quite big. This is what he looks like. Standard Figuarts type packaging, has a photo of the figure, has the black and white extra photos. You can kind of see the figure on the inside and some of his accessories. Side of the box, more pics of the figure. Back of the box, all the poses you can get him into, him with Vegeta, and then all the legalese for Bandai. But let's get this guy open and take a closer look. And here's Zarbon out of the packaging, and just for a basic figure with basically no shading whatsoever, I think he does look pretty good. The face looks exactly as it should. All the paint is there, especially you can see like on his earrings right here. You have that nice like lighter purple paint with the silver, very nicely painted and sculpted. The eye deco, the teeth are painted really nicely. The yellow eyes there are really nice. The green hair is really nice as well. Nicely sculpted and painted. The braid does not come on him in the packaging, so you have to put that on. But he does come with two, and we'll get into that with his accessories. Looking down to Saiyan armor, that looks really nice, very plain, no shading there. He has the shoulder pauldrons, like every other Saiyan armor figure. The purple on his arms looks good. They sculpted all the little bumps that he gets when he becomes a monster. Looking down here at his legs. Stocky, very nice. I know some people said they want his legs to be a little taller. I don't have any preference either way. I think he looks cool being kind of like stubby and monstrous. But then down here at his boots, they're just plain and then nothing on the bottom. This figure is made in Vietnam, so fingers crossed that there's no huge QC issues with this guy. But overall, he looks pretty good. So for articulation wise, the head, let's see, can look up about that much. He's got like a joint kind of like the old Broly figure where you can like pull it up and then push it in either direction to kind of get him more range. So he does look up pretty well, and you can use that to get like flying poses. And then of course he looks down very well, but you do get that big gap in the back. And the braid here is on a ball joint, so you can kind of wiggle that around. He does look side to side, and you can see his neck does move all over the place, and he does have head tilts. You can kind of do whatever you want to do with his head. No problems there. The arms, if you move the shoulder pads out of the way, and that is one of the problems that we'll get into, but his arms do go up pretty high. In a way, I kind of like this look. It looks like he's wearing like a tank top or something. He does have bicep swivel. He does have double jointed elbows, which don't look half bad. They are kind of flat, but at least, you know, it's kind of closer to that matte color of the regular pieces. For the hands, they are on a ball peg and they just kind of wiggle around in there. The nails are painted as well, which I'm glad for, because they didn't do that on Birder. For his ab articulation, he doesn't go back at all, but he does crunch forward. I'm trying not to use his waist joint, but he does crunch forward that much. Then, of course, using the waist, you can get him to crunch over like that. And there's going to be a little bit of a gap up here, and then a pretty big gap down here. That's just to be aware of. For butterfly joint, he can get his arms across his chest, which is pretty good. But I have a feeling, let me stick this back on. Yeah, it looks stupid with the back piece of shoulder pauldrons on, but it does still allow him to cross his arms. And then for the legs, he can do the splits. He kicks up about that much, because you can kind of lean him back and get it up a little bit further, but this isn't a soft piece, so. And he does have a thigh sole that's nicely hidden. Double jointed knees, which look okay. And then he does have a boot swivel down here, and then his feet are on like this big ball joint, so they go, or ball hinge I guess, so it goes up about that much, down about that much, and then you can wiggle it around to get a decent ankle rocker. And then he does have a toe joint, of course. But yeah, he has a lot of articulation. Again, this back piece, these shoulder pauldrons are really going to hinder some poses because it is going to look pretty stupid with it. I don't know why they don't just, I don't know, figure out some new engineering for this. Like maybe make this like a really, really soft piece so it can just be flexible and kind of move out of the way, or attach it to the chest somehow with it being flexible. Kind of like how Rebel-Tech does it with their figures. I would like that, but I don't know. Maybe they'll figure out a way to re-engineer it sometime later, but for now, this is what we got. So after articulation, let's see if his accessories continue to make this guy worth the big price tag. For accessories, he comes with 3 other faceplates. The first one is this Screaming faceplate, which looks really nice. Very nicely painted and sculpted, has a lot of nice depth to it. Really like that. He's got a smiling, laughing faceplate, which also looks very nice. All these look really, really good. I like the vein there sculpted on his forehead. And then for the final faceplate, you get this like excited grinning faceplate, which is really cool. And then of course, to change it out, pull off the front of the hair, and then you can just pull this part off and then put a different faceplate on if you want to. And then there he is with the new faceplate. Looks good. Besides the faceplates, he does come with another braid that's more like flat down his back. The one that I have on him right now is curving. So this one's more flat down his back. This one's more curved and action oriented. They didn't have to include 2 different braids, but I'm glad that they did. Both are nicely sculpted and painted. He does have a pair of these like clawing hands. All these hands look really, really good. Really like these. He has a pair of Key Blast hands, and I say Key Blast hands because this is the hands he'll use for, I believe it's called Elegant Blaster, which look really, really nice. And then he has a pair of like splayed out hands, which again, look really, really nice. No gripes with the hand selection there. Then for his final accessory, the most hated thing ever when Tamashii Nations does this is this hard plastic cape, which you just attach onto his back underneath the armor. Let me see here if I can screw it in there on camera. Yeah. All right. So now it's on him. This is what it looks like on. Aesthetic wise, it looks good, but plastic capes are just no fun, and they kind of make him back heavy. So now he's just kind of leaning back. You can definitely get him to a point where he can like balance with the cape on, kind of like this. But again, I'm not a fan of plastic capes, so definitely he needs a cloth goods cape and a change of these shoulder pauldrons. Just all of this back piece engineering is awful. It just pops off and it's not great. But yeah, those are his accessories. The only thing I would want, of course, with every Dragon Ball Z figure is a blast effect piece, which I don't know why Tamashii Nations can't give one. They have a million generic ones. They could just throw it in for the price we pay for these guys, but I digress. His accessories are good. Definitely translates into monstrous form or full power version of Zarbon very well. And I couldn't ask for more. On to some size comparisons. For size comparisons, here he is standing next to a Daima Vegeta and a Super Saiyan Full Power Son Goku. Again, he's supposed to tower over Vegeta, so I think this is a pretty good scale and matchup. And then he does look really nice next to Goku, but yeah, I think this works out. This Vegeta is shorter than normal Vegetas. But yeah, I do think that this looks pretty good. And just to bring in a different Vegeta real quick. Well, I guess two different Vegetas. Here he is standing next to the old school 1.0 Super Saiyan God Vegeta, and then the brand new reissue of the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, just with a different head sculpt on there. And again, I think that this looks pretty nice. And even with this new head sculpt, I think this is from the old school Battle Armor Vegeta head sculpt. I still think that these two would look pretty good if you wanted to do some like Xenoverse time traveling type fights. Look pretty good. And then for some semi-monster comparisons, here he is standing next to the NECA movie Leonardo and the Jada Toys Blanca. He scales great with these guys, just as big as these guys. Blanca is taller, but he does stand a little bit taller than Leonardo here. And I just think they look pretty good together. And then last but not least, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends animated series Spider-Man and a Marvel Legends Iron Man. Again, he's pretty tall, so he stands basically toe-to-toe with these guys. But, you know, you could mix them into your display if you want to. But yeah, other than that, I think he looks great with these guys and all the figure comparisons. I know that SH Figuarts has weird scaling when it comes to Dragon Ball, but if you believe he should be taller, then sure, I think that's fine. But I also think that he looks kind of cool just being squatty as he is. So I tried to get him into a pose where he's like squeezing Vegeta kind of, but like even with the Daima Vegeta, and I don't know if he's just like too small. It's kind of difficult. I don't know, it just doesn't look right, I guess, but I mean, you can still accomplish that if you want to. But final thoughts on this guy, I think he's awesome. Like, I like Zarbon, so I picked him up from Premium Bandai. Of course, I would like him to just be a normal release, but I understand he's kind of like a niche character. He probably wouldn't sell well if he was just like a regular release. But I think he's really cool, really nicely done. I think even without the shading, he looks good. Of course, I would have loved shading. I would have loved a cloth cape. And I would have loved an effect piece for his Elegant Blaster, because we didn't even get that with the base Zarbon, like the regular form of Zarbon. But I do think this is a great addition to your collection. And for anyone interested, yes, he does stand the same height as... I think he actually stands like a little bit taller than Dodoria, but he's a little bit... if you wanted... I guess if you wanted that like bulk on your shelf, you would have that with this guy as well. If you want them to stand side by side with him in this form. But, I mean, I think the attention to detail with the sculpt and paint is very, very nice. Definitely like this guy. If you want him now, you're going to have to get him from, like, a third-party vendor, or, you know, hopefully another Japanese site has him up still for purchase or pre-order. But definitely a cool figure. Not a must-have unless you're a Zarbon fan or just need to complete your DBZ collection. But with this, I think the Namek saga is pretty much done, hopefully, fingers crossed. Unless they want to do new Gokus and Friezas. But yeah, I like this guy. Definitely think if you like him, you should pick him up, but he's not a must-have. And, of course, there's problems, as there is with every SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z figure. But I think the looks kind of overshadow that a little bit if you really like the character. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Please like if you liked it, and consider subscribing. I have noticed that a lot of people do watch my videos, but they aren't subscribed. So if you like what I do and want to support me, please subscribe so I can put out more content and kind of have more fun with these reviews. But as always, guys, thank you, take care, and have a great rest of your day.